shine on Happy Camper Life. We're loving, living, and learning online on Happy Camper Life.
Hey guys, I'm Courtney Ortiz, the host of the My Camp podcast, and you are joining me today live in the Girls HC. And I'm so excited to introduce my two new camp friends, Abby Metcalf, the volunteer coordinator, and Lori Harris, president of volunteer coordinator of what? President of what? The Boston International Turner Syndrome Summit, also affectionately known as BITS, BITTS. Abby and Lori, thank you so much for joining me here today. I always like to start off with your camp origin story. Everybody has one. We'll
Sure.
start. Lori, what's your camp origin story?
I'll start on that. So we started BITS about 10 years ago at this point, and we started it because I have a child with Turner syndrome who's no longer a child, now is age 25. But I recognized at the time that because Turner syndrome impacts many aspects of who you are, including sometimes your social skills, my child hadn't had an opportunity to really connect with other people with Turner syndrome and was waning in their ability at school to maintain friendships. And so with some other parents at the time and some adult women with Turner syndrome, we started the program to bring these kids together, who many of whom had not met another person with Turner syndrome. And it was just an opportunity for them to come together for a week in Boston every year to meet others who really get them and connect with them. And my child went the first summer and several summers after that until they aged out, and still is close friends with the people he met at BITS.
Camp friends are the best friends. All right, Abby, what's your camp origin story?
Yeah, so I was a participant a bit back in 2016 when the camp first started, and I was on the older end of aging out. I was about 18 at that time. I was about to go to college at that point, and I was really nervous about being away at home. I never really had that independence before. I struggled with making friends, and I think I also knew that once I get to college, I'm not going to have people that I grew up with there, and I kind of have to break out of my shell a little bit to and have those social interactions. So I thought that having a place where I could be, supportive and trying to make those jumps before I got into college would be the great move. And I am friends with everyone that I went to BITS with still. And again, currently I am in this part of the board that's helping out with BITS too. So it has made a significant impact on my life.
So talk to me, what is BITS? What is this program, Boston International Turner Syndrome Summit? It's a week, it's in Boston. Give me all the deets.
Yeah, so it's a week in Boston. Usually it's towards the end of July, going into August. So during this week, we have a bunch of different activities, both on campus where the program is being housed. Usually we find a college in Boston that we all go to, but we also do a lot of different excursions outside as well around Boston. But when we are on campus, we also have people and instructors that come and kind of teach us certain things. So like we had sign language, we've had cooking, we've had Zumba, a bunch of different activities like that throughout the week, just to give opportunities for campers to kind of learn new things and try different things that they might have never had a chance to learn before. Yeah.
How many girls, because Turner syndrome, let's do a little pause and do a little bit of education, because I know all of our listeners out here are like, want to know about what is Turner syndrome. Give us a little cliff notes.
Yeah, so Turner syndrome is a genetic genetic condition. Usually individuals with Turner syndrome have one, not two X chromosomes, which can impact it impacts different things for each woman with Turner syndrome, but usually it can impact stature. It can impact heart conditions. It can impact thyroid conditions. It can impact, again, the executive functioning, so organizing, and some of those types of skills. Usually one out of 20,000 women or people who have are diagnosed with Turner syndrome every
So that makes it real special. So for this BITS week, you're bringing, how many women or young girls are you bringing together? Because it's for a specific age. I'm asking so many questions here. The ages, how many girls?
So we usually have around 30 participants, and their ages 9 to 19. I'm sorry, 12 to 19. Yeah. Sorry, 12 to 19.
That's a nice range.
We also have about 10 or 11 staff members. So the staff to camper ratio is very tight. And the staff members, for the most part, are all young adults with Turner syndrome. So we consider that really important for the kids coming to our program to have those, we call them mentors instead of counselors, because they truly are mentors, not only in terms of guiding the kids through the day and the week, but also sharing insights about what it was like to grow up with Turner syndrome and what it's like to be an adult with Turner syndrome. And for example, this year we're having a career panel full of adult women with Turner syndrome so that the participants in the program can really dream big about who they are and who they can become.
And I even love the age range from 12 to 19 or 18, those 12-year-olds. As you get older, it's not such a big gap, but when you're that age, I mean, they might as well, you put them on a pedestal, and they have a lot to aspire to and look up to with those older campers. Yeah. So how many of your instructors or mentors that come back went through the program?
In the beginning, everybody was new to us because we were a new program. Over time, this year, it's, I think, 100%. So what happens is everybody who ages out of our program announces, I want to come back as a mentor. Yeah. And there's only so much room. Unfortunately, we would love to have everybody back, but we have a pretty competitive process. And just gradually with time, we've evolved to almost every staff member has been a camper at some point. And like Addie, some graduate to become a member of the board and the planning committee and the like. And it's just such an opportunity for growth for these campers. And it's a beautiful transition to watch them become adults.
And it's amazing for you to have such a competitive structure for your mentors, because it really means that you're getting the best of the best of the best of people coming back year after year. So that is so special. What does the week look like? Take me through like a typical day.
Abby?
Yeah. One thing I want to highlight is towards the end of the week at BITS, we have a medical panel as well. And so we have a range of doctors that come to campus. So we have had a cardiologist, we've had an endocrinologist, we've had geneticists, psychologists, and all these people, the participants have chance to kind of ask them questions and be curious and kind of give them the independence to take control of their own healthcare as well, and ask the questions that they have wanted to, and so I think that is a great thing that we do during our week of BITS. Usually this is towards the end of the week. Again, during the week, it depends on the day of the week, but we usually have an outdoor, out and excursion outside of campus. So just one that comes off the top of my head is the we've had to went to a ropes course in Boston, and so they all went there. Then we've come back, and usually we'll have a little bit of downtime, and then we kind of break up and go into some of the on-campus events. So again, some of those things have include like poetry, sign language, cooking, and so we will break up into those groups. During the downtime, sometimes we also have this thing called Summit Speaks, and so this is a chance where we would break up into small groups and kind of have a chance to connect with the other participants who and just talk about kind of the challenges and the successes of what it's like to have Turner syndrome. And that has always been kind of a nice, looking back on my time, that was kind of one of my favorite moments, just because it did show me that I wasn't alone with having Turner syndrome and that I could connect with all these girls or participants that have Turner syndrome. And then usually towards the end of the night, we like to do something fun, and this has been like a tradition that we've had every year. It would either be like a movie night, we've had karaoke, dance party towards the end of the night, and then we always have nurses that are on campus. Usually they also have Turner syndrome, and we would do meds, whoever needs to have meds, and then it would be time to head to
Yeah,
bed. So usually
and a
that's
lot of the kids who come to
Yeah.
our program take growth hormone injections every night. And one of the really amazing things about med time at night is many of these kids come to us having never done their own shot. Their parents have done it for them every night. And we ask them on the registration form, would you like your child to learn to do their own shot with our nurses' help? And if they say yes, then they're taught during the week. And when they do their own shot for the first time, everybody else is lined up out the door. And there's a huge celebration outside the nurses' suite. So it's really special to see, because if you've been raised in isolation in terms of the Turner syndrome community, you haven't had that opportunity to normalize it and to celebrate your wins with others who share your syndrome. But if I could just go back to what's a typical day like for a second.
Yeah.
I just want to say that there is really no typical day. Abby did a great job of describing the variety of activities that we do, but our goal is to mix it up so that there's a mix of on-campus visual and performing arts opportunities, as well as opportunities to learn new things like ASL and information about your condition. A lot of the kids who come to us love facts and history, because many of them have a learning disability called nonverbal learning disorder. I actually like to call it a learning difference, but it mimics in some ways autism spectrum disorder. And so there's a lot of holding on to facts. And so when we are off campus, we always mix in, because it's Boston and there's so much history. We have a lot of history buffs who love to visit historical sites.
Lots of
museums.
facts in Boston.
And our main goal in all of it is to help these campers get outside of their routine, because they can be very routinized sometimes. Like, I like to do this and this is what I do. And so we encourage them to step outside of their comfort zone, try new things, meet new people, learn how to be courageous. And our goal is just give it a try. We don't care how good you are at anything or how much you love it or don't. I mean, we hope you love it, but our main goal is give it a try, get outside your comfort zone, show yourself what you're capable of. A lot of parents, with good reason, sometimes tend to helicopter parent these kids, because they can be immature for their age, and they can be slower than their peers in terms of branching out socially and recreationally and academically. And so we really we call them butterflies. We really like to watch them spread their wings and learn how to be a little bit more independent and think about what new experiences they might like to have.
I noticed that as a resounding theme on your website is like your comfort zone will kill you, get out of your comfort zone, try new things. And, I love hearing your conversations about the things you're trying to instill because I feel like those themes are some of these like universal themes when it comes to camp or summer programs, independence, finding people that you connect with,
Yeah.
have confidence. And I think even like on a personal level, the confidence in dealing with your health and having confidence to ask a doctor those questions when, a lot of people, we don't, and we're nervous, and the confidence in being able to give your own shot, like those are incredible, things and milestones that these kids can make at your program. So how do you, I already noticed you are full for the summer, like no more enrollment for the BITS program.
Right.
So, could you grow? Like, how do people find out about your program?
So we can grow. We usually have a waiting list every year. We try to keep the numbers small for several reasons.
Right.
One is that our nurses can only handle so many
And
kids.
they are the most important people at camp. Okay. Let's just give
They
a
can
shout
be
out,
on
a
certain
little
times
moment
of
of
the day.
silence for the health center nurses. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So they are our main gatekeepers in terms of how big we can grow the program because it's not scalable in terms of the medical needs of these kids. So, and in addition, we're moving around the city of Boston. So unlike a traditional camp where, our cabin is a dormitory in a college campus, and we're moving around the city of Boston, sometimes on public transportation, and it can get a little bit tricky to keep track of 30. The idea of keeping track of 40, 50. We'd love to grow it, but we are working really hard to try to keep that boundary at 30.
It's hard.
People hear about the camp through word of mouth
Okay.
and through their endocrinologists. All of these kids have an endocrinologist who monitors their health care. And many of those endocrinologists around the country and even the world have become familiar with our program and suggest it to their patients. We are connected to the Turner Syndrome Clinic at Massachusetts General Hospital. One of the co-directors of the clinic is an endocrinologist who sits on our board, and she sends a lot of her patients our way. And then we have social media sites where people learn about us. I'm a member of certain Facebook parent groups for parents of people with Turner syndrome, and I'll occasionally mention our program. The first year we had to market it a ton. This year we marketed it almost not at all. We open registration in beginning of January, and we're usually full by the beginning of February.
I know that you say because it's always in Boston in the week, every year you try to do different things, but are there any like activities that are just like tradition at this point or some historical sites that you just go back year after year because they're favorites?
Go
I've never
ahead.
been to Boston, so tell me. I know.
Usually, we will spend one of the afternoons walking around Faneuil Hall and do a little bit of shopping. We always try to find some sort of, a lot of these participants, me included, love theater. And so we usually have the opportunity to go see a show, whether it's like the Blue Man Group. Last year, Kristen Chenoweth was in Boston doing a show, and so the participants got to meet her. So that was really cool. So usually we have them see a show. And then what we do for kids, the participants who are aging out of the program, usually they'll have a night for them to do something special, do like an escape room or go to the movie theaters, just kind of something for a group of them to go before they age out. Those are kind of the like main traditions, I guess, in Boston that he usually like to do.
Yeah, we have more traditions on campus than we do off campus because we
Yeah. So
like
what are some of your traditions?
well, like Abby mentioned in the beginning, we always have art night, karaoke night, dance party, movie night. We always have a theme. So this year the theme is Defying Gravity. So you can guess what our movie is likely to be.
Oh yeah, no spoilers.
One of the traditions is called rotations, and as Abby was describing, we split up into 3 smaller groups and rotate among activities. The activities themselves might change, but ASL has been a steadfast activity as well as poetry. We actually have a former board member, an adult with Turner syndrome, who teaches poetry, and the kids just love it. One of the strengths of a person with Turner syndrome is expressive language. And so even though the learning difference is called nonverbal learning disorder, it's a little bit of a misnomer because these kids are very expressive. This year, we're doing a session on storytelling and sort of how to tell your personal story, sort of like The Moth, if you're familiar with that,
Yes,
that program. And we have a board member who's also going to be a mentor this summer who is a Toastmaster, which is a
Yes.
program I'm not so familiar with, but she's going to teach that session. So the tradition is rotations, but we do mix up a little bit of what is going to happen in those rotations. And then, like Abby mentioned, the Summit Speaks is a mainstay for our program. It's so important.
I love it. I love it. So if someone wanted to know a little bit more about your program or volunteer, where can we find out more about Boston International Turner Syndrome Summit?
Yeah, so definitely at our website, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lori, it's bits.org.
It's www, and I'm going to spell it after I say it. It's bitssummit.org, and it's BITSSUMMIT.org. But we also have a Facebook site and we have an Instagram page, and they can always just email us at info@bitssummit.org, and we're quick to respond.
Yeah, and on your website, you have a great slideshow of 2024. So I highly encourage all of you to check out their website and check out their 2024 video. We can't wait to see what you do in 2025. I mean, can we give any spoilers, like any kind of surprise activities? Do we know what the show is going to be this year? What are you going to go see?
We are going to go see Shakespeare in the Park this year. We're going to see Much Ado About Nothing, I think it is.
That's exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. The other spoiler I think we can give away is the ropes course the year we did it was a huge hit. We have a young woman aging out this year who wrote on her registration form, "It's my last year. We have to go back to Treetops." So Treetops is in.
How can you say no to that?
No, we did not say no to that. So we're going back to Treetops this year.
Yay. All right, guys. Well, I thank you so much for joining me today. It was such a pleasure to learn about your program, to learn about Turner syndrome. Guys, I really go and Google it today, learn a little bit more, learn about their program, bitssummit.org. There's a lot of really great information. Abby, Lori, thank you for joining me today. Guys, thank you for joining me in the Girls HC for the My Camp podcast. If you want to hear more about My Camp, you can listen where you listen to podcasts. And we have a great YouTube channel. So check us out on YouTube. And I'll see you back here in the Girls HC. I'll save a s'more for you.
Can I add one more thing about?
Yes, please.
looking
Anything else
online?
you want to say?
Many of the kids who come to our program come from families who have expended a lot of financial resources toward care for their kids. And so a lot of kids come to our program requesting scholarship, partial or full. And so we do have a GoFundMe account where people can donate to help fund our scholarship program for kids who can't otherwise afford to come, because we never want to turn anybody away who can benefit from what we think is magic of BITS. So if anybody would like to donate to help fund our scholarship fund, we would truly appreciate it. There's a link on our website.
Cool. And we'll also, guys, if you were listening and you didn't have a pen, we're going to have this in the show notes. So please check out the show notes if you want to contribute. Thank you so much. Really, it's
Thank you.
yeah, summer programs are not cheap, depending, no matter who your population is or what you're doing. And so the cost, I know, is very, very expensive for you to put on a successful program that continues to get people to come back. I mean, that you have 100% of your staff as your mentors. That says a lot about the, what you've provided and the quality of your program. So thank you for providing and continuing to do what you do.
Take a moment to shine.